Good morning. My name is Tami Riggs, and I'm the Director of Outreach and Career Services. I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to all of those receiving certificates and degrees. And to the faculty, staff, Mr. King, and our online participants and guests around the country who have joined us for the webcast of this ceremony, thank you for joining us. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Center for Advanced Legal Studies Virtual Graduation and Achievement Recognition. This is our 65th commencement since 1988, and by all accounts, it will be one of the most memorable. 2020 has been a crazy year, and the world is messy right now. But no matter what you are feeling today, you deserve to hold a keen sense of pride. Graduation is an achievement worth pausing to celebrate, especially during these times, and CALS is so proud to share this moment with you. To the family, friends, and loved ones who have supported you, thank you for the encouragement you have offered, and in many cases for the sacrifices you have made. You have been a tremendous help tolerating late nights of homework and studying as your graduates balanced jobs, family, and educational goals. In recognizing hard work and dedication and overcoming obstacles, we would like to make note of graduates with superior academic performance. To earn the LEX designation in the slideshow, graduates must have maintained 95% attendance and a 3.9 grade point average. LEX is the National Honor Society sponsored by the American Association for Paralegal Education. Graduates with 100% attendance and a 4.0 grade point average receive additional honors designation through CALS. CALS also recognizes and thanks our veteran graduates for their service and for defending the freedoms that we all enjoy every day. Mr. Eric Happy will now share his insights on your journey and provide additional acknowledgement to the distinguished faculty and dedicated administration, which is a hallmark of our 33-year tradition of excellence in developing paralegals.
What? Trying to find music for the credits at the end. Live? Now?
Thank you, Tami. My name is Eric Happy, Director of Distance Education at Center for Advanced Legal Studies, and I'd like to introduce a few folks. I understand there may have been some technical issues just earlier, but it seems like they've been resolved. I'd like to first introduce members of the Center for Advanced Legal Studies Administration, starting foremost with Doyle Happy, a co-founder and school director of Center for Advanced Legal Studies. More importantly, he's my father. Thomas Swanson's the academic dean and was actually the first instructor who ever taught a course at Center for Advanced Legal Studies back when it opened in 1987. Randy Jerding is our course designer and helps our instructors and me get content up on Canvas and Blackboard Collaborate so that the classes run smoothly. James Sheffer is Director of Admissions and works with students during the enrollment process, as does Elaine Propus. Elaine is also in admissions, but she's also an attorney and teaches immigration law in our paralegal program. Tami Riggs is the Director of Outreach and Career Services and works with all of our students as they approach the end of their programs to either secure an externship position or an actual full-time position as a paralegal. If you haven't met with Tami and discussed your career options, please do. She'd love to hear from you. Lori Baggett has been with the center since the 1990s and is our financial aid director. She works with all students who are seeking Title IV funds to finance their program. Leticia Ramirez is our financial aid assistant and is Lori's right hand. Pete Becerra is our accountant and keeps everything going financially, getting payments out to students and all the things that are important kind of on the back end. Sarah Casey's our office manager. She also does many things in accreditation, student services, helps out really in all areas. Nathan Lindsay's our Director of Marketing, works on our website, social media accounts. Crystal Camacho is our Administrative Assistant. If you call up to the center, chances are the first person you'll talk to is Crystal. Pamela Bennett is our librarian of record, making sure our library resources are in tip-top shape. And Maria Villanova is our teaching assistant and librarian assistant. Works primarily with on-campus students, so if you attended either morning classes or Saturday classes, then you know Maria well. I'd now like to introduce the faculty at Center for Advanced Legal Studies, and I'll start with our law faculty. As mentioned earlier, Thomas Swanson is the academic dean and was the first instructor to ever teach at Center for Advanced Legal Studies back in 1987. Larry King has been an instructor with the center for over 20 years and was the first instructor to teach a live class online. A few days later, after Mr. King taught that first class, Aida Zimnicki was the second instructor to teach an online class at the center. Both are still teaching currently in our online program. Aida Zimnicki is probably the one instructor that every student has had. She teaches a lot of subjects, and I don't know that there's been anyone graduate in the last 10 years or so that didn't have Mrs. Zimnicki as an instructor. Our adjunct law faculty consists of James Carey, Aaron Corkin, Gary DeSerio, Kimberly Evans, Sahar Grovis, also one of the very first online instructors, Allison Mathis, Tom Wynn, Elaine Propus, David Simpson, Greg Thompson, James Wiedemer. Mr. Wiedemer also first started teaching in 1987 at Center for Advanced Legal Studies, and Ann Williamson. Members of the general education faculty include Gregory Ite, Tracy Lee, Carla Smack, Joy Oden, and Stephanie Salatich. We're extremely fortunate at Center for Advanced Legal Studies to have a very experienced and diversified program advisory committee. Our program advisory committee helps advise us on directions we should go in our programs and our curriculum. Currently, our committee is comprised of paralegals, attorneys, educators, and employers. Members of our program advisory committee currently are Marilyn Bates, a paralegal at Houston City Attorney's Office, Linda Corrett, a paralegal at Copeland and Rice, Crystal Cornett, a paralegal, but also a graduate of Center for Advanced Legal Studies and founder of Paralegals Connect, a Facebook group with over 20,000 active members. Denica Davenport, a human resource manager at Foster Global, Sabre Davis, talent recruiter at ClearPoint Company, Gary DeSerio, attorney and instructor at Center for Advanced Legal Studies, Sherry Fasadi, a law firm operations consultant at We're Boss LLC, Franchelle Chaubert, a paralegal at the Harris County Attorney's Office, Robin Kessler, an educator at University of Houston Downtown, Dr. Dale Konisek, a professor at Houston Community College, Katrina Majors, a paralegal at Harris County Attorney's Office, Dr. Michelle Reed, an instructional designer at Texas State University, Pat Sharkey, a law partner at Jackson Walker LLP, and Rosa Walker, a senior director at Pillsbury Law. We'd like to extend our thanks to the members of the Program Advisory Committee for all the work they do in helping ensure quality in our programs, drive our curriculum in the best ways possible, and ensure that our graduates have the greatest opportunities to succeed. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Tom Swanson, our academic dean, who would like to share his observations regarding his time at Center for Advanced Legal Studies and congratulate you on your success in completing your paralegal program. Mr. Swanson?
Good morning. It is always a joy and an honor to speak to people about the paralegal career field and to, in particular, speak about the Center for Advanced Legal Studies. Almost 50 years ago, I stood in a library like this as I entered a paralegal training program in the United States Air Force. It was an exciting time. And within a few months, I was a bailiff in a military courtroom, and I went on to do all sorts of other things, whether it was court administration, investigations, and many other things. When I left the Air Force in 1976, I found out that outside of the government, there really weren't many paralegals. However, 10 years after I entered the Air Force, I was a licensed attorney, licensed in Texas to practice law, and I was with a firm learning to be a trial lawyer. In 1987, I met some people with a vision, and their vision was about the education and training of paralegals in all sectors of legal employment. And with them, I had the opportunity to begin teaching. Over 30 years later, I have got to see so many changes, meet so many people, and feel that we had an impact on so many lives that I'm still doing it today. I hope that you will understand that there are only a few fields which offer such a variety of opportunities as a paralegal career field. Whether you work in government or the corporate area or the private law practice area, since the founding of the Center for Advanced Legal Studies over 30 years ago, the number of paralegals that have become integrated into the practice of law has been by the many thousands. During that time, the Center for Advanced Legal Studies has kept up with the technology and has really, in my view, blazed the way for the paralegal career field as it is today. While we have gone from books like these in the library to electronic legal research capability, it has been a marvelous series of opportunities that we've had the pleasure to present to the people who have gone here. It is a wonderful thing to know that we have helped people who decided to change careers, start a career when they were young, to help foreign attorneys who wanted to embrace the American legal system to gain information and training on our legal system. And today, with our expanded online presence, we're continuing to forge ahead. For you that have gone to the Center for Advanced Legal Studies and began a career in law, I really am excited for you, and I say that with every graduate. You are entering a field that you're going to be proud to be part of, and in which you can develop a complete career. So, as I say to you, good luck, and we'll be here tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Swanson. Tami, would you like to introduce today's commencement speaker?
It is my great pleasure to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Mr. Larry D. King. He is a favorite among students and staff, and he has been a respected member of our law faculty for nearly 20 years. Mr. King is known for being a hardworking professor who really cares about his students. He has high expectations, but it is his ability to explain tough concepts clearly and with humor that builds student confidence and inspires them to learn. Mr. King is dedicated, humble, and always willing to go the extra mile. His expertise in a variety of legal areas has helped him prepare literally thousands of graduates for success in their paralegal careers. As an experienced lawyer and educator, he is truly invested in his students' success. His background includes website design, implementation, and teaching of web-based synchronous and asynchronous legal education courses. Mr. King recently retired from the active practice of law after 40 years as an attorney, and he is ending his 100th term of teaching paralegal students at CALS. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Larry D. King.
In the fall of 2009, it was my privilege to be the very first attorney to teach an online law class at CALS. I've continued teaching online law classes for the last 11 years. Thus it's fitting, I suppose, that I should be privileged to be the first to address graduates in the very first online graduation ceremony at CALS. I'm doubly privileged and humbled to speak to you today. I want to add my congratulations to all those graduating today. Congratulations, grads, on your accomplishments. I know you've worked hard to earn your diploma. Because you've worked hard, you've earned the right to enjoy this moment. You've persevered through the hardships of a worldwide pandemic. You've stayed the course to the finish. So now enjoy the rewards of your effort. You should be very proud, so savor it, enjoy this moment at the end of your labor. I congratulate each and every one of you on your individual accomplishments. A remarkable accomplishment that hopefully will pay big dividends for you in your future. I also want to salute all those who've supported you, the parents, spouses, children, others. All those who've supported you deserve your sincere thanks and appreciation for all that they have done for you while you've been pursuing your education. Be sure to personally thank them for their sacrifices and support while you continued your education. One thing I really miss about this form of graduation is that we don't get to hear the hoops and hollers of the supporters for each graduate as they're announced. But I know the hoops and hollers are going on among your supporters wherever you are this morning. I know you're all anxious to get your diplomas, and there are quite a few of you to honor, so I promise I will not take very much of your time. The pandemic, of course, is on our mind. It's inescapable. We find ourselves today in unusual circumstances, to say the least. Impersonal contact seems to be the only contact many of us get these days. Zoom and social media have become the common connecting thread for many of us. The social distancing from the pandemic has been challenging, if not extremely difficult. I know it has been for me. For anyone who may have contracted the virus or who have lost loved ones, that is truly tragic. And I sympathize with those losses. I'm not here to criticize the unfortunate ones. But perhaps some of those illnesses came from bad choices. Or maybe they thought they were making good choices and they still got sick. For those of us who have thus far managed to avoid the virus, we have apparently made the right choices. So I got to thinking, what is it that separates those who make good choices from those who make bad choices? From those who take risks to those who take minimal risks? Darwinism might say it's survival of the fittest, but even the strongest of us get sick. Even The Rock and his family caught the coronavirus, but they did survive. A strong immune system certainly helps to survive, but it does not keep you from getting ill. So are those that get sick making bad choices or simply unknowingly taking unwarranted risks? Perhaps it has something to do with our individualized attitudes and ideas, and because we individually, uniquely perceive reality differently. We see the choices before us differently and thus make different decisions. Possible. My message to you today is not about how to survive the pandemic, but about all the choices we face, the decisions we make, and our attitudes that influence and direct those choices and decisions. We all make choices every day, even when the choices are difficult. How we individually view those choices, our attitudes, may influence the very choice itself. That's the crux of what I want to say to you today. We're all facing the same or very similar circumstances. Let's call that objective reality. But because our attitude towards those circumstances are different, the choices before us may appear quite differently. That's what I want to talk about today. Our choices that we make during a pandemic obviously help to keep us alive. Choices that some make may qualify them for a Darwin Award. Making choices is a necessary life skill, but choices are not always easy to make. Many of our expressions, idioms, and figures of speech are telling about this difficulty. One of those expressions is a Hobson's choice. It is often used to describe a difficult choice, but that's not what it really means. It really means to have no choice at all. Hobson in the expression was Thomas Hobson, who owned a stable of horses in Cambridge, England, long ago, 1500s, 1600s. Mr. Hobson often rented horses to the students at Cambridge University. But he did not really trust them to take good care of the horses. So he had a rule that prevented the students from riding his best horses. They could choose to take the horse that was nearest the stable door, or they could not take any horse at all. Thus, a Hobson's choice was really no choice. Another expression having no real choice or no good choice is between a rock and a hard place. It's often used to describe a difficult situation with few choices, none of them good. For example, your boss may ask you to work late, and they will, but you have plans to go to a movie with your girlfriend. If you refuse to go to the movies with your girlfriend, she gets angry. If you choose to work late, your boss gets angry. So what do? I don't know. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. But you still have a choice and a decision to make. The decision to make is between your job and your personal life. As a paralegal, you will have this choice to make many times. As I think back over my legal career, I've had many of those choices to make, and I always made my profession the top priority, with some regrets. I distinctly remember a big meeting with quite a few senior attorneys from major law firms in Houston, and the CEO of a corporate client on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve? Yep, Christmas Eve. I also remember getting a call from a senior partner in the law firm at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday morning to drive 100 miles to take statements for a new case. There have been a lot of those instances, and they were easy decisions for me to make. If I had plans, I don't remember what they were. There's still another expression that describes a situation with only bad choices. Being on the horns of a dilemma. The dictionary says a dilemma is a situation in which you must make a decision about two equally balanced choices. When the dilemma has horns, a choice becomes impossible. When you're on the horns of a dilemma, there's no way out. No matter which horn you choose, something bad will happen. You will be impaled on the horn you choose. I had at least one of those, and yes, I was impaled on the horn I chose. Actually, it was more of a Hobson's choice. I really did not have a choice at all. Sometimes life happens. It was a difficult pill to swallow, but I moved on. When we make choices, we make changes. We change directions. Think before you leap, you've heard. Let me add, don't be afraid to change. Be afraid to not change. Do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. We all make mistakes in life, and that's how we learn. We all face choices, and we all make decisions. We can't always be right. Sometimes it's just how you look at it that matters. For example, take the expression, is your glass half empty or half full? I think the answer is yes. It's both, and you get to choose and you have a decision to make. This is a question we use to gauge your attitude about whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. How do you see things? Are you an optimist or a pessimist about now, right now, this time in the midst of a pandemic, the time in which you're looking to find or to keep a job? How do you see your future? Is your future as filled with opportunity, or do you see it as half empty with lost opportunities? Question is a bit of a loaded question because the objective reality of the glass in question is that it is both half filled and half empty. Think about it. If you take a glass of water, fill it to the brim, and pour out half of it, now the liquid fills only half of the glass. So the question again, is the glass half filled? Yes. The liquid only comes to the halfway mark of the glass. Is the glass half empty? Again, the answer is yes. half of the glass contains no liquid, only air. So again, the answer is yes, it is both half empty and half full. So what's the point of the question? Well, the glass is merely a metaphor about life. It's not life. Reality is life. And the reality is that life is never halfway one thing and not another. Life is everything all the time. Optimism and pessimism are both opinions and attitudes. Important opinions, but opinions. Objective reality is something quite different from opinions. But which is the better opinion, half empty or half full? It's up to you to decide for yourself. Chances are you already know whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. But let me strongly suggest that optimism is the better opinion regardless of circumstances. If you're looking for an opportunity to have a better opportunity, it's more likely to happen if you're optimistic about it. If you want something to happen, it's better to have an optimistic outlook. What will happen, but always be looking for an opportunity to better yourself and your situation. Stay positive and good things will happen. Only a positive outlook can save you from a deep depression. A negative outlook will not help, it will only worsen the situation. If you're not an optimist by nature, strive to become one when looking for opportunity. It's fine to be a realist, to recognize obstacles, but the winners in life do not let that stop them from accomplishing their goals. Offer your help to your next employer, your service. Be part of a solution to their problem, and that will help you get a job. Well, what are we celebrating today? Is this graduation celebrating the end of something, or are we celebrating the beginning of something? Again, I think the answer is it's both. Yes, it's the end of your formal legal education, but it's also the beginning of your day-to-day education, the beginning of your work as a paralegal, or whatever you choose to do from this day forward. It's the end of your time at Cal's, but it's the beginning of lifelong learning about the law and the practice of law. Before this graduation, there were other graduations from one school to another. My grandchildren have already had graduations from kindergarten to first grade. Can you believe it? Some have graduated from middle school to high school, and may someday hopefully graduate from high school to college. So today is both an ending of one chapter of your life and the beginning of another. This graduation is more than leaving one school to begin a new school. The school you enter next is the school of hard knocks, a job. Some of you are already there. The reality of the workplace tends to teach you more about law and life. Graduation in many respects is like life itself, which is a series of beginnings and endings and new beginnings. It's the very nature of your professional life, your personal life, my life, every life. I wish you well on this new chapter of life, this new endeavor you're about to begin. This last chapter has prepared you for the next chapter, and the next chapter will prepare you for the next, and so on and so on. According to Google, the average person has 11 jobs in a lifetime. That's pretty close to the number of jobs I've had. You only know me as a teacher and a lawyer, but I've been a lot of things. Some might even surprise you. And each of them has prepared me to be who I am today. Your present job or your next job will likely not be your last job. Each one of them will be a new beginning and a new ending. And someday you'll look back on your education at Cal's as the beginning point of your professional life and career. But that someday will be at the end of your life not where you are today. We have to live where we are in life, and that is today. When do you start your search for your next job? Why not start today? But you may think, wait a minute, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're always in the middle of something. And we get to choose what to do next. So look for opportunity today, right now. There may even be vacancies available due to the coronavirus. Who knows? Firms and companies are still hiring and doing Zoom interviews. Opportunities do exist, you just have to find them. How can you make the most of your job-seeking effort? How can you use the internet to market yourself? Who do you know that has a job like the one you want to have? Get on it, get networking. Make a plan, then start working your plan. You make that decision, then start working on it today. Every day of your life. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is always now. If we had a watch that told us what time is it really, it would always say the correct time is now. Right now is the only time you ever have to do anything. Don't waste any of your time, because the time is always now. Decide what you want to do, how you want to make a difference. Do it now. Your reality, objective reality, is there is no other time than right now. Right now in the middle of your life. Will it be hard? Was school hard? A job may be hard to find, or a job may drop in your lap. Keep in your mind the first time you do anything new, it will be somewhat hard. An adjustment will need to be made for the new situation. The next time it will not be as hard as before, and after a time it will become easier. There will be a time when you will be doing something for the 100th time, when you feel like you've mastered it, and it will then be easy. It may even be boring because you've done it so often. That very same thing may have been much harder when you did it for the first time. But in the end, as you look back over your career, you'll think to yourself, I actually did those things I never thought I could do. I know I do. I never thought I would do some of the things I've done. Many will be challenging and difficult, but the more you do them, the easier they will become. So go forth with the confidence that you will face challenges. You will encounter new things, new circumstances that may be disorienting, new tasks that you've never done before. Are you competent to do all of them? Maybe not the first time, but you will be. Each new thing you do will build confidence in you that you can do things you never dreamed you could do. That's what makes a legal career so rewarding. Each new thing you do will prepare you for the next, a new challenge. It may be hard the first time, but the confidence you gain from each new thing will prepare you for the next challenge, and so on and so on. Look for challenges in order to grow. Here's another idiom for you today. The ball is in your court. The meaning is it's your move to make. The school has done all it can do to prepare you for the professional environment. Now it's your move to make. The ball is in your court. Have a great career. Enjoy your accomplishments today, and also celebrate those you will have for the rest of your career. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. In appreciation of your long-standing contributions and your agreement to provide the commencement address, it is our great pleasure to provide you with this certificate of appreciation. At this time, we would like to acknowledge our graduates, and we would first like to start with our graduates that hold a paralegal certificate. Lillian Acosta, Kimberly Archie, Ross Beckwith, Laura Bell, Michelle Bonnet, Laura Bracken, Kayla Brake, Natalie Brewer, Kempa Busby, Nikita Butler, Sandy Serta, Amber Chaitlin, Liliana Craig, Tamisha Daniels Burden, April Davis, Rosalinda Diestro, Amanda Douglas, Amy Drake, Priscilla Duran, Renita Garcia, Maria Gote, Carlette Green, Johnny Green, Patsy Griffin, Elizabeth Heflin, Tyler Henderson, Tiona Hodge, Megan Jaramillo, Gabrielle Johnson, Angelique Jolivet, Kendra Jones, Takesha Jones, Kiera Jordan, Haley Justice, Jenny Coleman, Jasmine Leon, Amanda Lydekin, Crystal Longoria, Bertha Lopez, Linda Madrid Thering, Ann Rose Magezi, Grace Martin, Taylor Matt, Jenna McMinn, Zaria Medellin, Mia Moreno, Robin Nunn, Claudia Ochoa, Keisha Ortiz, Ruth Palacios, Delia Penn, Renee Perez, Abro Perez, Trina Paralu, Christina Peterson, Cynthia Polendo. Michelle Perea. Jennifer Porras. Peyton Prucha. Priscilla Quintanilla. Laura Reyna. Catherine Richardson. Desiree Rodriguez. Justin Rodriguez. Quinn Rowland. Letitia Roy. Matthew Slife. Sarah Strickland. Tanya Subiel-Dia. Courtney Siner Collins. Crystal Thornton. Kathy Trong. Emily Turnage. Erica Villanueva. Noelle Washington. Rakisha Whedon. Courtney Williams. Candace Winfrey. Macy Witt. Alfonso Youngblood. Heather Zenz. We will now recognize graduates who are being awarded the Associate of Applied Science degree. Catherine Bogdan. Jamisha Krumeti. John Dice. Constance Entholt. Crystal Garrett. Tiffany Green. Tandria Hall. Lindsay Johnson. Nicole Lafayette. Jacqueline Longacre. Erica Marmolejo. Katarina Mays. Rebecca Morgan. Gloria Najira. Joanna Nava. Robbie Reese. Jana Reyes. Kimberly Valvaneda. Isabel Vasquez. Sherelle Watson. Ashley West. Daryl Young. On behalf of everyone at Center for Advanced Legal Studies, I would like to congratulate all of our graduates. Each of you came to us with aspirations about what education could make possible and how your lives would change. Our hope is that you remain steadfast in the knowledge that your training, the relationships that you made, the learning you achieved, and the experiences you had will serve you well. Thank you for attending.